or Misha, but you know, I tend to look at the more sort of offbeat, charactery people, and I like Kevin too. And I'm sure everybody here does. Is there anybody that doesn't like Kevin and Osric Chow generally? Like he's got to be one of the cutest people alive. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Hello.
In the show Supernatural, being as though we're trying to bribe death to a character with a bunch of food things. So, if you're Julian Richings, what kind of food would someone be bribing you with?
Well, it's one of those happy coincidences that I love junk food. I love it. I grew up in England. The first time I ever came to America, I was in New York on tour with a theatre company. And the theatre company was, as I was explaining earlier, was kind of avant-garde and weird and sort of almost like a ballet, you know. It was very, very imagistic, and we spent a lot of energy, so we had to eat a lot. And I thought, I came to New York and there was pizza on all the corners, and I thought it was a health food because it has vegetables in it, and you know, peppers and cheese. That's healthy, right? And pepperoni. But I really did. So I grew up, and my favorite is chip butty. The good old chip butty. That's an English term for 2 slabs of white bread, right?
Yes.
French fries, malt vinegar, salt, slap them together and eat them. That's a chip butty. Don't ask me why it's called a chip, but well, a chip is, French fries are chips in England, right? Why it's a butty, I don't know, but that's my own particular favorite kind of food. So maybe next season, maybe death could be resurrected with a chip butty. Somebody drops one on the floor in England and goes, oh crikey, I dropped my chip butty. And then a hand will come up and go, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. We've just rewritten next season. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, let's keep going here. I can write myself into every episode.
Hi.
Hi.
So you seem to like dancing around and kind of being physical on stage, and I was just wondering if you kind of do the same thing at home, like, is that just...
I drive my family crazy. I really do. I try watching things. You know this whole thing now with Amazon and Netflix and, you know, binge watching. Well, I can't sit still for more than 10 minutes. So, you know, my wife will get into a big show or something, and it requires, you know, a lot of attention because there's lots of things going on. And at 10 minutes in, I'm up and I'm moving around. Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a cup of do this, do that? I have to keep pausing. And I go out. So I'm afraid, yes. I'm afraid that I have a kind of I don't know what it is, but there's something in me that I have to keep moving. So, and you can join me tonight at the karaoke too. Should we all keep moving tonight too? Great, and I love it, and that's been a great thing for me, just to find an outlet for these peculiar talents. So for me, some people, the challenge is to find the energy to do things, right? For mine is kind of the opposite, where I have to breathe and control and just sort of focus and center. And it's a serious thing, you know, we all have our own issues of what we have to overcome in public or whatever, but I have to kind of keep that energy intact so it doesn't erupt everywhere in about 15 different directions. Okay, now I'm going to walk very sedately over to the next person. Thank you so much. I'm going to do thank you so much. I'm going to act from up here. And I'm going to go over here now. Hello. This is the controlled me. Hi.
What would be your favorite line and why?
Oh, well, I have an absolute... there's the one that I said that at the end of the season where, it's not my line, but I love Jensen's line, I think I've just killed death. It's pretty cool. But my personal one, oh, am I echoing? Hello?
Yes.
Hello, Julian, you're over there. There's another Julian. Am I still echoing? Oh, I am. It's the voice of death. Someone's been listening to me. So my favorite line is, and I'll say it to you, I'm old, dear, very old. It's my favorite line. I love it. I love that. I just think it's so great. And I guess I associate with it. I realize that in some of the parts that I'm going up for now, I actually said to my wife, I went for an audition. And I read her the specs of this part, and I went, oh, you know, he's very elderly, and he's got a lot of power, and he doesn't do this, and he does that. And I sort of went, so I'll just be acting older. And she looked at me and she said, you are old. You're not acting, you realize that you are the age that this guy is supposed to be. And it was a bit of a shock. And I actually did realize, I went, yeah, that's right. No wonder I'm starting to play these guys that go, away from our community, you are banished. I am the elder. You know, that sort of thing. No wonder. So it touches me personally. Not that I'm worried about it, but you know, and I think it's a great line. And I think we all feel it in different ways. Whether we're now 13 rather than 9, or whether we're now rather than what I thought I was. Okay, thank you. Hello.
Hi. So I know, like, artists and musicians and actors have, like, you know, whenever they're first beginning, they have this, like, period of, like, self-doubt, like,
Yep.
can I do it, or and things like that. And is there anything that you told yourself, like, to get through that period?
What a fantastic question. Is that a fantastic question? Is that a personal one too? Do you feel that?
Yeah, on a music education major.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Absolutely. And of course, for me personally, as an actor, and just as a human being, doubt all the time. And it took, I guess, well into, I mean, I've got grown-up kids now, right? But as a parent, being an actor with an insecure profession, you go, am I really doing the right thing? Should I grow up and sort of take responsibility? Like, you have doubts about your choices in life, and you have doubts about your own personal ability to do things too. And that's something that we have to overcome all the time. I do it. I get nervous when I'm performing in front of you guys. I gotta say, you are so supportive that it makes it a pleasure. I'm not just saying that to be, you know, yeah, it's for you. You should applaud yourself. But we are in a very supportive environment here, and I think we're very supportive of each other. And we all share a common love, a common interest, and I think supportive networks are very important. But as human beings, and after all, it's not unique to actors. Actors, the canvas of an actor is that of a human being, right? I play human beings. I'm a human being, and I feel the same that you guys do. I feel very nervous, I feel very doubtful about stuff. And I do have to keep talking to myself that I can do it, or that to play a particular role, I have to get up and do something that, you know, I'm capable of doing it. But it's more about the small things in life. It's more about, you know, am I going to make a fool of myself when I open my mouth in a meeting with a bunch of people? Am I going to say the wrong thing? Am I going to look stupid? You know, it's those kind of stuff that I think we have all the time. But, you know, if you can embrace those things, I think that's what makes you you. And I would never say, oh, don't be silly, get rid of it, get rid of it. I think it's very much a part of who you are and what makes you sensitive, and it's an important thing. So it's a great question. I can't give you an answer, but I can just share with you that for sure I have it, and I still have it. And when I think about how successful I am, and I don't mean by successful famous or, you know, I've been successful in life. You know, what choices have I made? I get filled with doubt all the time. Should I have chosen this because it would have been better for somebody else or whatever? And I think those are the questions we have to continue to, we can't ignore them, we just embrace them. So it's a great question, thank you. Thanks for that.
Hello. What's your favorite aspect about death and why?
Well, now I'm assuming this is my character of death, the supernatural character, because I've said this before, and I think my best way of explaining it is really, I enjoy the idea in this show that death is part of the cycle, and that he doesn't represent evil, he doesn't represent bad guy. If you have to say good guys, bad guys, he's not a bad guy, but he's a guy to be respectful of and to be aware of. And in other words, very much part of the cycle of life. I mean, he's winter, if you like, but if he reaps, it doesn't mean to say it's the end of living. It means that it's preparing the way for something else. And so that life cycle is very important, and I think that the show, in all the different ways, you know, in its reapers, but in everything, it's angels, there's a sense of a cycle and an order that changes and shifts and moves, but it continues. And I think death epitomizes that in a really good way. Okay, thank you. Hello.
Hi. So we haven't really seen the consequences for killing death. What do you think those consequences should be?
I don't know. I think Jensen should be force-fed junk food. And they should be like really difficult things to eat, and we should get him to say poetry or tongue twisters at the same time, or something like that. It should be so terrible. No, I don't know. The consequences, my revenge. I don't know. I deviated and I gave you a silly answer. What was the? Remind me what the sensible answer should be again.
What do you think the consequences should be?
Yeah, the consequences. I don't know. I mean, there was that great episode, right? Was it called Incident in Samara? You know the one where I hand over the ring, and I think it's a great show in that it tells the story of death as a function in life. It goes back to the previous question about the presence of death is an important presence. It doesn't necessarily mean it's harmful. It means that it continues. And in fact, in some ways, it's more harmful to mess with it. And to be honest, I think that it's a theme that's still there. It's out there. It hasn't been explored, and it could be. I mean, I really don't know. And especially in the way that this past season has gone, that it's one of those kind of hanging ideas, and maybe, who knows, it will be developed more. But I think it begs those questions. And it's funny with the show, sometimes it's more resonant if you don't answer it. You know what I mean? Like if it's just left there, and you, the audience, kind of goes, but what about ... you know? And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes you feel dissatisfied because it needs to be completed, and I don't know, we'll see where the show goes in its next season. But I've got to say that everybody's very brave in the show, and the writers and the showrunners aren't afraid to take big decisions and big risks. And I think that's what, whether you like it or you don't, it sure keeps things honest and dynamic. Right? Yeah. So thanks for the question. Thank you. Hello.
So I recently watched you in Shoot 'em Up.
Oh yeah.
I was just wondering how you think you've grown as an actor since playing that.
Oh my. So Shoot 'em Up, wasn't too long ago, so I hope I was already really brilliant in that. No, it's, Shoot 'em Up is a movie with Clive Owen and Paul Giamatti, And it's kind of a non-stop shoot 'em up, right, all the way through. And it's kind of it's almost like a Bugs Bunny with violence. Really weird. It's like you know how Bugs Bunny is naturally very violent, you know, with things happening and people smashing each other. Well, this one is kind of got Bugs Bunny humor, but it's got guns. So you're looking at it and it's funny, but then you're going, wait a minute, I don't know if this is funny or not. It's not.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It's weird. And there's and so there's Paul Giamatti as the baddie, and I am his driver, and there's another guy so we're his sidekicks basically. So the three of us are kind of like three stooges. So it's like everything he does, we go, you know, it's this kind of thing. And so it's not naturalistic at all. It's kind of cartoony a bit. So I guess what I would say to you is that I don't know that I've grown as an actor since that role. I think it was a very different kind of role. So in a way, maybe I look different. Maybe I look like I'm less kind of focused or less in control because of that part required that. So I like to think that I grow as a person, but the roles that I play are all extensions of who I am, and they all allow me to grow in the same way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't ever feel that I've ever had an aha moment where I go, oh my God, I was so bad back then, and I'm so good after that role. Thank goodness for that. I think the thing that happens with recognition, and this is what we do a lot, we mix up celebrity with quality. And I think what happens is people get recognized suddenly, and then you go, that's that guy. Oh, look, he did a bunch of other stuff too. And then you tend to think that the other stuff wasn't so good until they became famous. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a funny thing that we do. Whereas I think that, and especially being a character actor who does hundreds and hundreds of different roles, I feel that a lot of them are extensions of who I am, but some I have a more important part to play. Some you forget about me after about 2 minutes, right? But I give as much energy and seriousness to each role, no matter what. You know, whether it's 2 minutes before I get shot, or whether it's a serious role like death, or you know, a leading role in something. I look at them all in the same way. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I was just wondering, you touched on this a few questions ago, but I wanted to know, how would like a scene play out should Death and God meet again? Do you think Death would be mad that he practically abandoned like everything he created, or he allowed all those messes to happen?
Well, I think we'd sing rock and roll, personally, and I would dance. I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier too, is that the show leaves that question, and we'll see whether it's answered or not. You know, it's definitely there, I agree, and it would be an interesting idea to develop as a theme, but I don't necessarily think that Death and God, I think that they represent ideas in the show. I can't imagine them actually getting together and having a scene about it. I think that they're more important as ideas that run through the show. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah. That's just me personally, but anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there. Well, I'm going to try and be quick because I know we're sort of getting on here. Hi.
If you were to play one other horseman rather than Death, which would you pick and why?
Oh, wow. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to sort of sidestep the question very subtly.
Okay.
And tell you that when I auditioned for Death, I actually auditioned for Pestilence. So there you go. So, and you know what it was? I don't think I was actually auditioning for the role of Pestilence, but the first character to be written for Four Horsemen was written as Pestilence, and the producers put the sides out, and actors self-taped, sent their tapes in for auditions, and my agent told me to do this. I did it, forgot all about it, and then about almost a year later, I was